Hey, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the Senate. Some vulnerable Senate incumbent Democrats who are facing re-election, some Senate Republicans who are also facing re-election, and how the Senate really could look in November, but how it is looking right now, uh, how it's going for each party. So, if we look right here, and I'm still grateful that 538, because it's now October, is finally adding these. They did it last time around in 2022, and I'm so glad they're adding it now. So we can finally just, go here. We don't have to like search for it now. But, so for the Senate, which is going to be very different to the polls for the presidential race, uh, as you can see, because Trump is already leading in Georgia in the president race, despite the Senate, the Georgia Warnock winning re-election in 2022. So, for vulnerable Senate races, obviously we have Ohio. Sherrod Brown leading by 2 points. He was previously leading by 5 points. I believe a 6 point win is unrealistic and most likely not going to happen. But if Brown wins, it will definitely be around 3 to 5 points. So this seems realistic if he's leading by 2.8% against Moreno. So this does seem realistic. That Brown is leading. So, and if you look at all these polls, Brown has mostly been leading, despite Moreno leading in some polls. But for the most of it, it's just been Brown leading in the poll. All right, show more polls. Uh, so yeah, as you can see, as showing more polls, still other polls that have Brown up by 5, Brown up by 1, and like I said, I do believe that Brown will either win by like around 3 to 5 points. So now, if we look at the other ones, Texas. Texas is going to be an interesting one because there you have incumbent Republican Senator Ted Cruz, who is up for re-election, who barely won re-election last time. I believe was also around 3 to 2 points. I can't remember. I think it might have been 5 points actually, but it was close. I just remember being close against Beto O'Rourke in 2018. But now we are here in 2024, and Ted Cruz is facing a tough re-election battle, especially when his Democrat opponent is campaigning on immigration, on the border, and that is things he needs to run on to win. Now, do I think Colin Allred will become Texas' next senator and replace Ted Cruz? Absolutely not. I don't think so. I don't think it's happening unless Democrat turnout goes massive in Texas, but I don't think it will. Ted Cruz will most likely, I do believe, win re-election, and I do believe he'll win re-election by 3 points, where he's at right now, 3.4%. Now, sure, he had a bigger lead before, 6 points, 5 points, but that quickly went down, as you can see now. He is now at 3.4%. Allred is gaining ground. He was at 41%, and now he had just reached 44%. Looking good for Allred. However, I don't think he'll win. I do believe Ted Cruz will secure re-election by 3 points. And if we look at the polls, mostly it's Ted Cruz leading. Look at that. Ted Cruz plus 6, Cruz plus 3, Cruz plus 5. We have not had a poll. I don't believe there's been a poll yet. Look, there's even some Democrat polls that also have Cruz up. It's by a point or two. But still, Ted Cruz is up. And, okay, so we got a poll. Allred won by 1 point by the Morning Consult. This will probably be the only poll Colin Allred will win. We'll see what happens these next 3 to 4 weeks. But I do believe that Ted Cruz will win re-election. So now we go on the other interesting one. So Montana. Montana is going to be probably the closest Senate race ever. So we have incumbent Democrat Jon Tester versus how do you say this? Is she? I don't even know. So, anyways, we have Tester down by 4 points, which is bad if you're in a safe red state that Trump will most likely win, possibly by double digits, and you're an incumbent senator. He's a vulnerable incumbent senator. Who, when I watched the debate, his opponent was like, "Oh, he voted with Joe Biden 99% of the time," and the Democrats also do that on the opposite side. It's expected to hear that type of thing. Oh, he voted for Donald Trump 99% of the time. So it's a popular thing for an opponent to run on. Saying that, oh, they're with the extreme party and we should vote him out. So, and this race was looking good for Jon Tester if you look at it by a couple months ago when Harris announced running. They were neck and neck. They were both at 44%. However, his opponent has secured a decent lead, a 4.3% lead. Uh, his opponent's up by 48.5. Jon Tester is down by 44.3. Not good for Jon Tester. And it's why I really can't decide if Jon Tester will lose by 3 points or win by 3 points. It's really hard to tell in a very close race like this. And especially since both his and opponent have led by several polls. Uh, so mostly it's his opponent, but I do remember seeing some polls that, okay, so this is a Republican pollster. This is also Republican pollster. It's been a lot of Republican pollsters. We got the Hill. That's a good one. So that has Tester down by 2 points. Let's see some other ones. So this would suggest that Jon Tester will lose re-election, which is still a very good possibility. However, it's still another good possibility that Jon Tester wins. How? Well, this is still in the margin of error. Jon Tester, it is not truly over for Jon Tester. It could be, it could not. We will see. We will see when the time comes. Another good one is Michigan. Here's another good one. This one I've had my eye on. So the incumbent Democrat senator resigned. I believe she's like in her 80s. She's like as old as Joe Biden or Mitch McConnell. But the Democrat candidate, Slotkin, has been leading this entire race, as you can see, since May of 2024. She has led the entire time. Rogers, Republican candidate, seems to be gaining steam here, but it doesn't seem to be enough. It does not seem to be enough. So, and there's a 4-point lead. And I know what you're saying. Jon Tester's opponent has that same lead, but still, Slotkin is constantly leading in the polls. Constantly leading in the polls. So not good in Michigan, and it looks like that the Michigan Senate race will go to the Democrats. So you're seeing this really good sign for the Democrats in these Senate races. So Ohio, Republican poll, right, or Republican state, got to Trump twice, and most likely going to go to him again. But the incumbent Democrat senator, who should be losing, by the way, and 2 years ago, Ohio just elected J.D. Vance, Trump's running mate, as the Ohio senator. He oh my goodness, I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. Uh, okay, Brown. These names just slipped by me. Brown is leading by 2 points, almost three. He's almost leading by 3 points. He shouldn't be, but he is. In a state like Ohio, he is leading by those points. So we have, and look, we can even compare them right here. Michigan, D plus 5. Harris, D plus 2. So you have Harris not doing as well as the Senate. And so if we look at our U.S. map for the Ohio, so the Senate. These are the betting markets. Now, the betting markets, sure, they are not polls, but this is what people are putting their money on. They are putting in their money on Jon Tester losing re-election, Sherrod Brown winning re-election, Bob Casey winning re-election, Slotkin winning, Wisconsin, Arizona. Arizona's going to be an interesting one because it's Kari Lake running again, and her campaign has been a total disaster. But anyway, so you see all these. If Republicans were winning, Republicans have been, for this entire election cycle, they have been guaranteed to win the Senate, but also to lose the House. When it comes to the Senate, they were guaranteed to win last time, but they not only lost the Senate, or they lost to flip the Senate, but they also lost a seat when John Fetterman beat Mehmet Oz. So this Senate, the whole Senate thing, could be going worse. So let's say the Republicans win the Senate, right? 49 to 51. That margin could be bigger. They could be winning Michigan. That'd be 52. They could be winning Wisconsin. That'd be 53. They could be winning Arizona. That'd be 54. Nevada, 55. You see where I'm going with this. But they're not. They could have 55 or 54 seats, like some were predicting last time. That didn't happen. But now they only have 51. Not good for the Republicans. They could be doing better, but they're not. These candidates If it wasn't for vulnerable Democrats, if it wasn't for these seats happening in for vulnerable Democrats, then the Republicans could not have a chance to even flip the Senate. You know, if it wasn't Montana, if it was somewhere else like Georgia, but it's not. But it's not, and we're seeing that these races are going to probably give the Republicans a win in the Senate. Uh, and that is why it appears that the Democrats are not just abandoning Tester because people are not just predicting he's going to lose, but it looks like he might. They're going to Florida, where I think it's Scott. He's up for re-election. Is it? It's Rick Scott, yeah. And then we also have Texas, where Ted Cruz is up for re-election. So Democrats are putting their money in there, in Texas and Florida. Will they win? I do not believe they'll win. Uh, I believe both will probably squeak out a win. Ted Cruz by 3 points, Scott by 1 point. But still, you know, the Republicans could be winning these other states. They could be winning Pennsylvania. They could be winning Michigan and Wisconsin and Ohio, but they're not. They are not winning them, and that is bad. It is bad for Republicans, and they could be doing a lot better, but they're not. So when it comes down to the election, when it comes down to November 5th, 2024, Republicans could have a total wipeout in the Senate if they were doing better, if they are these candidates in these states that are like totally doing bad. Kari Lake in Arizona, Rogers in Michigan, McCormick in Pennsylvania, whoever the hell Tim Kaine's opponent is, I don't even know. Uh, but you have all these candidates that are doing horrible in these competitive races. Michigan should be competitive. Wisconsin should be competitive, but they're not. Look at Michigan, 78.5 to the Democrat, and then Michigan 80.5 to the Democrat. So not good for the Republicans. Not good. They could have defeated the blue wall in the Senate, but they're not. They are not. These candidates are not doing good, and the Democrats seem to be holding on, are avoiding what could have been a disaster in the Senate. They'll probably lose. Schumer will once again become minority leader, but still, they are avoiding a total wipeout in the Senate that they were trying to avoid so badly in 2022. So it's not good for the Republicans. It's also not good for Donald Trump, but it's also not good for Kamala Harris if they lose the Senate. Where will this be in November? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see what else happens, what else develops, and we'll see.